All right. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the pre-market show. I hope everyone's having an amazing morning. Hope you had a great day yesterday. Good morning, Norm. How are you doing today?
Hey, good morning, Carlos. I am doing awesome, man. I was just telling you before we came on the air, I got
Yes.
9 hours of sleep last night. I feel like $1 million.
That
I
is
needed it
uh
badly.
that is incredible, man. You have kids. It's you're lucky to get anywhere near that time of hours of sleep. It's
I
just
took my son to bed at 8 o'clock. I fell asleep in his room at probably 8:05, and woke up in the middle of the night. Went back to my bed and slept till like 5 or 5:30. It was just amazing.
it's
So
a beautiful thing. My son is just starting to get into a nice sleep pattern. He's out usually by 8, up by 5, 6 in the morning, and barely waking up at night. So it's starting to get pretty nice. So let's hope it stays that way.
uh,
Um, all right, guys, let's get to it. We have a pretty good gappers list. Nothing huge like we've seen in a couple of weeks ago, where this day was just exploding on both sides or really aggressive over on one side. Pretty decent today. Not a whole lot going on there, so we will get into that in a second. Let me expand this a little bit here. Here we go, so you can see the tickers there. So we'll get into that, but first, let's look at what we had yesterday. We actually had quite a bit on here. Let's start with Target. So here's Target, guys. We had a pretty interesting day on Target yesterday. This was probably one of the better stocks that had a great pre-market action. It was on top of our list for sure. And at the open, you got a beautiful continuation here. And look at the way these levels are playing out. So if you're looking for a breakdown here, you might have got a little fake out at this point, but you did held on to this level you had in the pre-market. Now remember that the lows of the last two trading days were all the way down here, right? Look at the daily, right? So you didn't really have any great levels there, but we did find in the pre-market, we did find some levels on our 5 minute that traded very well into the market open. So see how great this was here. Nice engulfing pattern at this point here and a beautiful takeoff. And then if you're looking for high of the pre-market breakout, here is another one it broke out nicely. Again, it's just a beautiful trade on target. Again, if you got faked out towards the short, it was able to give you an opportunity towards the long side here. Once you saw that, it regained the VWAP and it was very strong. We have VIPS. VIPS, beautiful short, but not right off the bat. It was a little bit tricky at first. You did get this engulfing pattern that could have been somewhat of a fake of a change in direction. Usually, these type of patterns mean the stock wants to go the other way, but in this case, it does fail to create a new high on the next 5 minute candle here. So it cannot get above 20. Beautiful rejection becomes a beautiful short. And then from there, guys, nothing going on here. You don't get no continuation. Very choppy for the rest of the day here on VIPS. So again, a good opportunity here at the open. But after that, got pretty bad. SRNE, I didn't watch the price action closely on this one. This one to me is like a hit or miss. It really was more of a possible than anything. Had a good pre-market action with some good volume, but just look at this week here. Just really all over the place. Nothing really clean on it. TJ Maxx as well didn't really like the price action off the bat. Very similar to VIPS. Again, you got this possible engulfing here. It doesn't really go anywhere and then just drops back down. So again, not a big fan of that one. Gilead was another one we had on deck. This one actually traded very clean, guys, very well. We had a good pre-market activity on this one. This one was down huge, if you remember, off the daily. And then here again, just takes off. Not an easy stock to trade. So again, this looks good here, but it's one of these stocks where it's very, very difficult to trade. You did get a clean pop and then a nice little drop here coming right back down to the VWAP. The next one I kept on my list, I took some off. The next one I kept was WKHS. This was a nice one as well. Again, the first few minutes of this stock always tend to be a little bit choppy. An hour in, 30 minutes in, it does settle in. Unfortunately, I did not take advantage of this short here, but it does settle in, cannot stay above the VWAP on several occasions. This drop hits the low of the pre-market, I'm sorry, the low of the day here, you can see, and then it just slams down nicely to some levels here. We had 1627. So again, a beautiful trade there, usually a tough pre-market, a tough market open, but it does settle down nicely. Now, another one that I moved up after our pre-market show was BMRN, because again, this thing was just moving so well into that 930 time frame. And I cannot believe I probably was the only person that lost money on a short on this stock. And it was just incredible how weak. I'm telling you, everybody else made money except me on this one, unfortunately. So I got in for a short, but it was so tough to hold that position because the spread at some points was jumping about 30 cents. It was just unreal how bad the spread was on this. So even before it got to my stop, I bailed on it because I was concerned that if it did get to my stop, I was going to be, the slippage was going to be at least 30, 40 cents. So again, I couldn't, didn't have the guts to hold to something like that. And then when I get out immediately, it does this beautiful drop here, comes and retests, and then just slams down again. So again, hopefully you took advantage of this. If you had a 1 minute or 2 minute open range breakdown, again, I trade off the five, but if you were trading off a smaller time frame, this could have paid out lovely because the first 2 minutes here, you can see it drops down and then it never comes back and retests your entry. And when you have espresso bad like BMRN was, it's helpful to get that good cushion right off the bat, puts you at ease, take some profits and partials off the table, and then you can kind of hold on to a crazy ride here. So that was what we had, guys. Let's take a look at our market pulse this morning, see what we have going on there, and then we'll come and see what our gapless list has for us today.
Yeah, so SPY's down about 0.4% right now. The Q's Nasdaq QQQ is actually the best performer. Had been positive for a bit. It's now down about 0.1%, so not much. If you go back and look at the SPY yesterday, Carlos, you'll see we were sitting at all-time highs on the SPY, and then the minutes from the Fed that we spoke about that came out right at 2 o'clock. They talked about continuing weakness and concern for prolonged issues with the economy due to COVID. That took us into a tailspin yesterday, right at 2 o'clock. So, market still got that first and foremost on its mind. This morning, it's been negative pretty much all morning. Not too bad, but it's sold off a little bit. We just had jobless claims come out. They were right around 1.1 million. They were expecting it was like 925,000, 936. Let me see my note, 925. So, that doesn't help. We had a few more jobless claims than expected. And the continuing claims, they came in better than expected by just a little bit. 14.84 million continuing claims versus 15. So that's where we're sitting today. And really, all the sectors are down for the most part, except for utilities and real estate. Utilities is kind of a telling thing. It's up about 0.5%, the XLU. That's a defensive play, so not surprised to see that when we're in this down day and after that warning. Today, like I said, we had a whole bunch of stuff come out at 8:30, and then some leading into economic indicators come out at 10 a.m. Eastern. So that's most of it for the day. I got to tell you, I've been going through this list. It looks terrible to me, and I'm pretty optimistic about these things usually, but bit by bit, each one of these, I've not been real happy with any of these tickers I've seen. I
Just
think you
quickly
just
looking, yeah, just quickly looking at some of the names, you could tell right away that it doesn't look all that
garbage.
great.
Yeah,
And some of the ones we have looked at in here, like GRWG, that to me has been, again, for me personally, it has been horrible. I don't like the way that trades. Plug is horrible. SR needs a hit or miss. INTC on its best day is not the greatest trading stock. So it's just a lot on here. CODX, I mean, come on. It's not a lot of stocks that look great. We have seen the quality of stocks really died down in the last couple of weeks, like maybe the last 2 weeks or so, especially this week. So again, it goes
I mean
back to that.
it's typical. It's August.
Yeah, exactly. It goes back to what we were talking about yesterday and the day before. You know, this time of the year, things are a little bit more difficult. You got to be patient. Don't force things because you can end up giving back a lot of your gains from last month where you did very well just by forcing
Yeah.
things this month. You might not get those moves. You might need to just pump on the brakes a little bit there. Um, so let's go through it, guys. Let's see if we can find anything decent to watch today. Let's go over here and start with this one here. Let's start with KI. Here we go. KZIA. So let's start with this one this morning. See what we got here. Is this thing linked up? It's not linked. Let me link my trade ideas. Bring this over here. So the way you can link your trade ideas, you come over here in this window, external link, and you can find out your trade ideas if you have it. You click on that add link. You click shift where you want the link to be on your montage or wherever you want it to be. Hit OK, and then that's gonna help you link this up, right? So now when you click on your trade ideas, you can see that it will change your Dash Trader Pro. Now it's you have to do it every day. Unfortunately, it does not save. But if you're trading the entire day, that one step can save you a whole lot of time. So let's start with this one, KZIA. This is 6.1 million shares flow. I don't like the pre-market action. The daily is horrible. So again, I'm going to skip on this one, guys. Norm, interrupt me if you have any kind of crazy news that might be worth watching. But looking at these daily charts and this
FDA gave
5 minute.
them a FDA fast tracked a glioblastoma drug for them. It's a terrible disease. I've known a few people that have passed away from it in
Mm,
the last few years, brain cancer. But that having been said, this is a 6.59 million share float company according to Finviz, 6.12 on Trade Ideas.
mhm.
Australian biotech, just not my style. Trading at $3 just a couple of months ago. So, not that somebody can't trade this. It's just not what we really do that much.
Yep. Let's look at it. We'll skip on this one, guys. Again, just not really our style there. CVAC. This one actually decent pre-market action right now. We are up 13%, 647. It is a recent IPO, only opened up here on the 14th, last week, Friday, I believe that was. So again, not a whole lot of history on it right now, but the pre-market does look interesting. So I'm inclined to put it as a passo for now. I wonder if Peter has any info on this one. I know he keeps track of these IPOs. Today he reported IPOs anticipated for today, none. So usually Peter reports any IPOs are going to be opening for the day. So today we don't have any. So we'll keep it on here. I like the pre-market action right now, but it's just not a whole lot of information on this. The flow is sitting at 42 over at Finviz. We'll see what happens there. GAN at the moment, this one, okay, daily, 71 million shares flow. We have 157. We are up 7.8. The daily looks okay. What I don't like here is the volume. It's a little bit on the lighter side, only 2.5 on a regular trading day here on regular activity. You did have some more volume here in June and a couple of pops, but this lighter volume is going to create the daily chart to be a little bit on the choppier side. Pre-market is not showing any great activity just yet. Um, Again, I would not put this on here. I'm going to put it as a possible for now, but might not stay there. Um,
This is a gambling
that's what it
company
is.
out of the UK.
Oh, it's a foreign too. Oh.
Yeah,
Hmm.
so is CVAC, by the way.
And they're, oh, I see. I don't really like foreign companies, so I'm going to drop these two off. BJ's, this one here is getting going now. Got some volume coming in here in the last couple of minutes, 328. This might be worth watching, guys. Is any news coming out on this now, Norm? Or
Yeah,
they
they
had
had
news come
earnings.
out? Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they had earnings this morning. They beat top and bottom lines.
All right, so there's one worth putting on there. So here's BJ, guys. This one, again, for the most part, doesn't move all that well. But when they have earnings or any kind of news, it could be worth watching here. So they got some good volume this morning. 331 is great for BJ, because again, they're a nicey stock. They don't trade a whole lot of volume, so this could be a decent type of day today for them. ZI this morning, they are moving somewhat here pretty well. 146. Some good volume, up 3.2. They're daily though, man. Their daily is just a little bit on the choppy side over here. Look at the last couple of days, just consolidating between this 40 and 38. I'm not really liking what I'm seeing here. I'm going to keep this off the list for now. If we have any news or it gets better, we can look at it later. But again, I'm not seeing a whole lot
They
of good
announced a
stuff here.
second. They announced a secondary offering a few days ago. This
Hmm.
is a recent-ish IPO from, I believe, mid or early June anyway, and they've
Yeah.
announced a secondary. Then they just announced the pricing of that late last night, I guess. So
Yeah, not the best catalyst to trade here. Let's head down over to CODX. Again, we've seen this one before, guys. It is a monster of a stock. You got to be very careful. It has been pretty much taking a very nice hit here, down from 30.96 all the way to 14 the last couple of days. Every day in here has been red. It has had no luck here in trying to put any type of green day at the moment. Pre-market actions, not anything. This is probably one of the worst pre-market action we've seen in a very long time, guys. Just look how choppy this is. So don't let the up 3% and the 121 fool you. And on top of that, this stock is very risky. It is sitting at 26 million shares flow, but I treat this like a low flow because that's the way it really moves. So I'm gonna stay away from this one. INTC today, they got some great volume this morning. 1 million shares traded. And what I like about the daily right now, we'll get to the news in a second here, is we're breaking out of this consolidation we've been in for the last couple of almost the entire month of August. Again, you guys remember this thing had a big drop when I think AMD got into their business. I don't remember the exact details, but this really got killed on that day, and it has not been able to recover ever since. So they got some good volume today, Norm. What is the news behind it?
Their CEO came out and said that he believes their stock is priced well below its intrinsic value, and that they're going to be
Mhm.
doing share buybacks because of that.
Okay. All right, so let's see how that news is going to play out. Again, they got some good volume right now. They got a okay pre-market activity, and they're really breaking out of this area of consolidation, which I like as well. So daily looks good on this one. Um, let's head down over to Plug. Plug, guys. Again, this one of those stocks that are, again, looks good after the fact. Like this daily looks great, but when you start looking at the details and the intraday and the actual price action, is a very difficult stock to trade for me personally, at least. I know there's been some people that have had success with it. Right now, they have 368. They're up 2.8. Pre-market action is not actually not looking all that bad right now. You do have a lot of that volume though sitting at 8 o'clock. So I'm gonna put it as a possible for today. This is one that could be a hit or miss. It's one of those stocks. If you have the space to watch it, great. But if you have anything slightly better or even as equal to this type of stock, you want to take this one off because this one could be a such a hit or miss. Um, Here's YNDX. This stock right now is up 2.3, 336. Was on our list a couple of days ago. Let's see how it traded yesterday. So, not a great pre-market action. Looks decent the intraday here. It looks like got a nice little breakout here above the high of the day and high of the pre-market for the most part. And they get a little run here. So, not too bad. Again, this is one of those stocks that I'm not a huge fan of. I think also it can be we traded before in the past, but lately has not been trading all that well. We'll add it on here. Let's see if things could get better. At the moment, the spread is not so great. That needs to tighten up a little bit more. Right now, almost showing 20 cents there, 13 cents or so. Let's look at what's next. That completes our gappers list. So really, only like two on here, BJ and INTC. The rest right now are not looking all that great. Let's see what's gapping down. BLNK. This is a stock that again we have looked at in the past. Not the best trading stock. It is somewhat of a low flow. I know it's sitting at slightly above 20, but it really moves like a low flow stock. So right now they're down 13%. There is no inventory for sure. Pre-market has some volume on it at the best. Pre-market action and price action itself with 237,000 shares traded. Again, I wish we would have shares for short on this one. It is on short selling restriction. I'm not going to add it to my list, guys. Today might be a day where I have a very, very short list for you guys and for myself. GRWG. So a lot of people had this on their list yesterday. Let's go back and see how this thing actually traded. Again, looks like got a couple of wicks here that could have been pretty choppy. Yeah, this is all choppy here. So I don't like the way this moved at all. Even with some after it broke out here, this was nice, but then overall, very choppy open. And I think we saw this a couple of days ago as well, where it had gapped up. It had gapped up huge and also very choppy in here. So again, I think this could be a good possible because the daily does look good as some. It looks like it wants to keep going here. You had a pullback 2 days ago. It recovered nicely yesterday. So again, it is on a beautiful uptrend on the daily. It's just the intraday might not be as clean as to trade here. Um, CWH. Oh man, it's just not getting any better. CWH guys, not really liking the pre-market action. This is down 5%. Look at the daily, just horrible, very
This
choppy.
this
Uh,
stock trades very low volume usually. Its
yeah,
average daily volume is 2.3 million shares. Makes it
yeah.
difficult to trade. It's not super liquid.
Yeah, so we will skip on this one, guys. Spread is horrible right now as well. QFIN, another one that I know by heart. This one doesn't trade well. I don't watch this stock at all. It is very choppy, guys. Down 3.7. Look at the type of pre-market action you're getting here. Let's see the intraday yesterday. Again, just look at this here. You're not getting a whole lot of volume. And when you don't get a lot of volume, two things are going to be really bad: the spread and also the price action, which is one of the things we look at when we take our type of style of trading, right? Our strategies here. So again, I'm gonna skip on this one. AVTR. Oh man, we should have stayed in bed. No, we should have slept 12 hours instead of 9. This thing is just not looking good. I'm gonna skip on this one. The reason why, guys, just so you know, in case you're new, it's just look at the pre-market. Look how choppy this is. There's nothing clean about it. You have 1.2 million shares traded. So the numbers, right? The numbers are great, down 3.6, 1.2. But once you start getting into the actual price action, these candles are reporting 229, 180. The lowest one of the lowest one here is 100. 60, and look how that's trading. You're not getting any type of price hike. I'd rather have
And
a
the
quarter.
the catalyst
Hmm.
this morning on this sucks anyway. I mean, they announced the secondary offering, so that's
Yes.
usually a pretty terrible catalyst anyway.
Terrible callous. I'd rather see something with half of this volume or even a quarter of this volume with a good pre-market action. You're not getting that here with AVTR. COM, let's look at COM this morning. All right, a little better pre-market action right now. We do got some volume, 222. Their daily, 1.2 million shares traded. What's the float on this? 39 million shares float. Their daily is just brutal. This is not a daily chart I want to be involved in. Looks like we looked at it before. We got some levels here. Um, but again, this is not looking good.
Their average daily volume is 354,000
Yeah.
shares. I've seen this come up when they've had earnings and such before. I don't know that their catalyst is a secondary offering, so
Hmm.
bad catalyst, low volume generally. So it's no, no, no,
Yeah. Now we are going to move away from this. Let's look at American Airlines. So this one's on here with some pretty good volume, 1 million shares traded, down 2.2. So it looks like the airlines are getting a little bit active here. We had a beautiful break on the airlines beginning of August, guys. Nice little pop here, broke out of some areas of consolidation and resistance. This was when the government said they're going to continue to help the airlines. This did very well for them. Then they also started dropping. So we see American Airlines here taking a bit of a dive and leaving this area of support. So I do like American Airlines today. But my favorite one out of all of them will be United. So let's see what United is doing. Not a whole lot right now. I think American Airlines has the most volume. United, not much volume. Is there any
AAL
specific
announced it.
news?
Yeah,
Okay.
AAL announced cutting routes.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So
Yeah. So American Airlines is the one to watch today. This one's definitely being effective. And then look out for these other airlines that, they might have a sympathy play. Again, usually when you have such a change like that, the other airlines might get affected by it because they could be next or whatever the case may be. They're in that same industry. So, very tight list so far, guys. That is all I have. Norm, what do you like this morning? What is Roku doing? Anything good?
no, it's not doing
Okay.
anything good.
Oh
Let's
man.
let's rephrase what I like. How about a couple of things that might have potential? RKT is one of them. It's moving nicely. Recent IPO. I don't see a specific catalyst on it, but it's moving
Yeah,
fairly nicely with high
it is.
volume and a 5% gap. Then you've got Baba, which announced earnings. I hate this stock. I
Mm-hmm.
won't trade it. I would just point out it had earnings this morning. It was down enough to hit two. I think it was down 1.5% or so. So not quite enough to hit our scanners, but it
Mm-hmm.
might move as it had news. Uh, that's it. Nvidia had earnings last night. It's only down 1%, but it's trading on heavy volume. Nvidia usually is pretty light in the pre markets at 356,000 shares traded. So it
Yeah.
could do some stuff. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so that's what I got.
Yeah, I like some of these, man. I like RKT right now. Their daily looks pretty good. We got some levels on here, so we'll see what that does. And I'm with you on Baba, man. Baba is one of those stocks that this is a great pre-market action. It's very active, but I am just if I want to lose money, I'll trade Baba for sure, and it'll happen. So I don't feel like giving back this morning. So, but we'll do levels for because I know there's some people that can read Baba very well, and they trade amazingly. So great pre-market action for them right now. Some really good volume. Maybe I'll watch it. Maybe we'll see. All right, let's take a look at what our chat room has this morning. I am going to start with stock operator. So he has codes for a possible continuation. Let's take a look at that. Yeah, Coast, man, Coast has been getting hit nicely the last 3 days here. Some volume, not as great, but looks like it could be starting to come in if we start losing some of these levels. Yeah, I like Coast. I'm gonna put it here. I might even move it up and replace Baba for Coast or yeah, I like that one. BA, let's see here what we have on BA. BA is a little lighter on the volume, but again, with American Airlines dropping a little bit here, maybe this can cause some continuation on Baba as well towards the bottom, but not a whole lot right now. And then Baba, we have INTC, we have that's good. OPGN, I've seen that on both chats in YouTube and in our
Any
chat room. Let's
stock.
take a look. Yeah, penny stock, guys. Again, this looks great if you're into these type of stocks, right? It's very active right now. 15 million shares traded. What's the float on this, by the way?
15 million.
OPGN, 15 million exact. Yeah. or PGN. Yeah, so it's just finished trading its entire flow right now. But again, guys, we don't really focus on these penny stocks. There's a lot of money to be made here. There's also a lot of money to be loose. You just got to be very careful. Again, if this is your
Yeah.
niche, go for it. This is one you want to be in, but I'm gonna skip on that one. All right, CVAC. We looked at recent IPO. Did we keep it on here? I think we took it off.
No,
It's a foreign
foreign.
stock, so yeah, I'm not gonna look at that. AMD. Let's see what we have here. AMD very light on the volume, so I'm gonna wait for AMD to hit the scanners today. If anything, Nvidia probably might be a good semiconductor to watch today. This one here is active. It has 360, which is great. Actually, let's add this here to a possible. It's a great pre-market volume for them. They usually don't trade a lot, like as Nor mentioned. So Nvidia, let's throw that on there. United and Delta, yeah, they look interesting. They're both look great on the daily, guys. Because if you start seeing, we have a great area that was prior resistance, now support. We have to see how that's going to play out. Um, let's look at Apple. Again, Apple pretty quiet for today. We've seen some great pre-market action out of this, kind of chopping around towards the side here a little bit. Had a good day yesterday, breaking up here, creating a new high, just coming back down. But again, pretty much flat for the most part right now. Again, I think today's going to be one of those days where scanners are going to be very, very useful to try to identify if there's anything else that's not on this list that's going to be a sleeper and do well today. Let's take a look at a couple over on YouTube. We have Apple. We looked at NKLA. Uh, we haven't checked that one out in a while. Let's see what we got going on here. Not much volume right now, guys. 55,000 shares. So you can see some movement going here. They're sitting at this great level of support right on here. But again, pretty much flat right now. Not a great pre-market. GE, unless we have some very significant news, I don't watch GE. Look at the volume, 762, and look at the pre-market action. Right. So again, they're going to have amazing volume every
GE.
time, but it's just not tradable, guys, unless there's some overall market news dropping or popping or some specific news to them. And even then, you got to be careful because it might just not move much. Um, let's see what else. It's a PE. Is PEC? Are these stocks or what are these? PE? No, nothing happening there. CE, nothing happening there. Let's skip on those. All right. One more, guys. We'll do Target. Target possible continuation on the daily. Yeah, looks good. You got some volume too. Yeah, Target could be a good one for a possible. Again, very strong yesterday. They ended the day very strong. So it can go both ways. You can continue to try to break these all-time high or head back down some profit taking. Who knows? But I think Target could be a good one for a continuation. All right, guys, that is what we have. Again, not the best looking stock here, a bunch of group that we have had before, but we'll come back to it. Let's go to announcements and we'll tune in a second, see what we can find here.
All right, guys. So last night we had Creda's webinar on finding your middle edge. That should be posted in the education center soon. Excellent webinar. I've not been able to see it yet. I fell asleep at 8 p.m. So anyway, I've heard great feedback from it already, though. So I hope you guys get to check that out if you weren't able to last night. Next week, we've got our very own member Naz talking about recovering from a series of losses and experience trader rehab. Every single person that's traded that I've ever heard of has had a drawdown, a slump at some point in their trading career. It's kind of self feeding. It's you start losing confidence after a couple of bad days, even though you're the same person. Naz has been through this and come out the other side of it, so he's going to be talking about how he's done that in the past. Looking forward to that. Our next psychology webinar is next Tuesday, 8 p.m. It's going to be with Nada, our mindfulness expert, talking about cultivating self-discipline with mindfulness for trading. Last day of the week, guys. I have not known what day it is until I got all this sleep. Now I know it's actually Thursday, last day of the week for member trade of the day. So take a screenshot of your best trade of the day, mark it up, and with your entries, exits, reasoning, thought process, setup, all that info, whatever you can give helps. Tag at Bear Bull Traders, at Mike B_BBT, and at Norm BBT. Use hashtag BBT Family. We will judge those, pick the winner. It'll be announced in the closing bell show, which is 3:30 to 4:15 p.m. Eastern. That's simulcast to YouTube from the room every day, Monday through Thursday. And then tomorrow on Friday, we will take the winners from Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, pick the best of the four. That person will be announced on YouTube and in the room and on Twitter, and they will win a $100 Amazon gift card. If you're watching us on YouTube and haven't tried out the chat and you would like to, you can sign up for the intro membership. Use the promo code premarket24. That will get you a discount off the normal price, and it'll go down to $24. It's 7 calendar days, 5 trading days, unless there's a holiday. It includes Carlos's Monday night onboarding class that he does every Monday night at 8 p.m. and doesn't auto renew or turn into any other kind of discount. And then if you're looking to upgrade your membership or become a lifetime member, you can use the promo code LABOR35. That'll be 35% off the single payment lifetime membership program.
All right, thank you, Norm. With that said, guys, let's actually go right to the member trade of the day yesterday. That goes to Valerio. He had an amazing short on WKHS here. So his first trade was actually a long. It's not listed here. He got stopped out. But again, reanalyze his the stock action, what was happening. He saw there was a good opportunity for a short. He went short right in here for the rejection of the moving averages VWAP, and he got a beautiful drop here. Took some more off as it continued to make new lows and just took this whole right down, man. Just an amazing trade, well managed. And again, being able to recognize you're on the wrong side of the trade is important. I mean, that's a skill. It does take time to do that. You want to make sure you're not just flipping around and just getting chopped up back and forth. Recognizing that here worked out perfectly for him. So great job there, man. Congratulations and good luck on winning tomorrow. All right, so let's take a look at this list. Let's kind of recap it first, kind of go through it. So we have BJ here. They have a good pre-market action, got some great volume right now. Their daily looks interesting as well, breaking out of this area of 44.58. We have INTC, which also possible breakout here out of this area of consolidation we've been stuck in for the last all of August, really, after this gap down end of July. YNDX, also decent pre-market activity, not the greatest, but not the best trading stock neither. But we'll see if this can give us some opportunities. The spread is getting better. It's 10 cents now. It was worse before, but it really needs to get tighter in that type of price of a stock. American Airlines does have some great volume, 1.3. They have some news here of possibly canceling some routes or reducing flights. So that's dragging them down today. I think this could be a good one to watch. We checked United and Delta. They don't have a whole lot of volume yet, but have those on your side radar as they can get going. RKT is a recent IPO, guys, as you know, Rocket Mortgage, and these guys are looking pretty good today, pre-market wise. But keep in mind also, remember what happened a couple of days ago? Right? They had a great news. They gapped up, and the entire open they sold down. So again, just kind of shows you don't want to have. It was this day here, I think, the 14th. That's some pretty good news or guidance or whatever for outlook, whatever it was. And all the entire pre-market they were ripping at the open. They completely sold off, gave all the gains right back. So not having a bias when it comes to news is important when it comes to our style of trading, guys. So make sure you keep your bias aside on these type of trades. So right now they're ripping nicely. Definitely want to check that one out. And we have Baba on here again, not one of my favorite trading stocks, but this is looking good pre-market. This is a great pre-market action, and you got some serious volume happening here this morning. All right, I think we'll do all of these. I think we have a very small list. We got some possibles here as well, down over Target, Nvidia. So we have Coles doing okay. Plug, again, not the best list this morning. Let's take a look at BJ's today. So high of the pre-market sitting at 46.24. We are dropping down here a little bit, down at 44.50. Our price action right now stuck between the highs and the two highs from the last two trading days. So below that, you have the previous day close, and your pre-market low right now, it's right at 42.29. I'm not going to mark that down because this is going to be more important, guys. The 43.40, this previous day close, that's a more important level. You can see being tested here and here, and I'll consider that being tested of the previous day close, not the pre-market low. So I think you're pretty much covered as far as levels. I think we are also sitting at all-time highs. So there's no level above this 46.23. high of the pre-market. So that's all you really have right now. Great pre-market action, guys, for an icy stock, especially this type of stock. This is a good pre-market action, so definitely on top of my list here. INTC also has a great pre-market action. We're giving some back now. We started very well, very early on, high of the pre-market 50.40, and now we're coming back down towards the top of the range from this consolidation we've been stuck in, right? So that top of that range is 49.60. Our pre-market low right now at 49.67. I'm not going to mark that down. I think this level here is going to be more significant for this stock. Now, if we bounce from here, we'll throw it down. Let's throw it down now. 49.66 low of the pre-market. If we bounce from here, then that could be significant. But this is the level here that I'm really looking for because that has been an area of great resistance for this stock over the last couple of days. Below that, highs and lows from the last two trading days, previous day close. You could mark down this one all the way down here. Again, I don't think we'll see that today or anytime soon. That 47, we've been able to hold this previous day close at 48.33 pretty well. Towards the top, if we're able to break back out to the pre-market high of 50.45, you do have two levels here that we want to mark down, 51.07 and the opening of this gap down at 52.14. So let's see how this stock plays out. Again, great pre-market action, some really good volume. We were up as high, probably as 6% early on. So now only up 2.8. YNDX, this one high of the pre-market. I might move this down to a possible, guys, but I'll be ready for levels in case it does trade very well or hits the scanners. 64.22 high of the pre-market. Towards the bottom, you have your low of your pre-market between the high of yesterday and the previous day close over at 62.67. So let's throw that level down there. And then below that, guys, plenty of levels, highs and lows from the last two trading days. Are we at all-time high with this? I believe we are. Yes, looks like we are, guys. So again, no levels above this pre-market high for YNDX. So that could be exciting, though. Hitting all-time highs like this can create some momentum up or down. If we can break out of this, it can rip, or we can get some rejection here, bring it back down towards these levels we've been trading in the last couple of days. American Airlines, good volume, not great pre-market activity, but these candles are jam-packed with some good volume here. 1.5 so far. Low of the pre-market tested a couple of minutes at a 12:30 here. Let's head down to some levels. We have right over here at an 11.94 is a good one. And then towards the bottom here, a great level of support, guys, 11.36. Again, I don't know if today you're going to have the type of volume that's going to drag this thing down that low, but 11.94 could be a possibility if we are going to be weak for the day. Now, towards the top, you got plenty of congestion happening here, guys. Highs and lows, the last two trading days, previous day close, moving averages. Again, the last 2 days, we really opened and closed up pretty much flat. So yesterday you had a nice pop, came back right to where it opened up, closed flat. This previous day close line has been an area of constant hits here, support, resistance. So we'll see how that's going to play out today. RKT continues to rip here. 2 good days, the last two trading days, both ended green. Today we're breaking out nicely, hitting 27.70, 27.74 high of the pre-market. You don't have a lot of history on this because it is a recent IPO. It just opened up on the 6th of this month. So high towards the top, you have 24.69 and 26.74 are your really only levels on RKT. But I got to say, this pre-market action is looking really good for this stock right now. 902, it is a nicey stock, but this is moving rather well for the type of stock that it is. So keep an eye on this one. Baba, guys, trading very good this morning. Beautiful pre-market action. Zooming into the daily here. You're kind of stuck between the highs and lows of the last two trading days and the previous day close towards the top here. So towards the top, we have 264.92 is the high of the pre-market. Above that, we have tested 267. But this area here, 264, has been a struggle for Baba. You can see here going back on the 13th, going back on the 5th of this month. You can see that again some rejections happening here and then coming back down towards these levels of your highs and lows here. So we'll see how that plays out. Towards the bottom, your low of your pre-market pretty much at this level, 256, which is the low from 2 days ago. If we were to lose that, again, not the best daily chart too, very choppy. You do have a moving average on here over around 253.94. That also has a couple of days hitting that price target, and then all the way down here at 250. So we'll see how this plays out. Pretty much dead center right now between the highs and lows of the pre-market, but their pre-market action is pretty active at the moment. All right, so that is what we have, guys. Let's look at our possibles target. It's could be a good for continuation. Let's remove some levels here, and I'm actually no, I'm going to keep this level because this 150 is a good one from the pre-market action we had here. I'm just going to add 156 71. I'm going to add the high of the pre-market. Let's see if this thing can take another shot at that. It did twice this morning, and now we're coming back towards that previous day close. Nvidia right now, again, somewhat active. We're getting a little bit of a bounce here at a 475. Actually, we do have great volume, 426 on Nvidia. So have your levels ready for this one. Let's see if this thing is going to bounce back today. Coles, well, the only thing I like about Coles, guys, is the daily. If it can possibly lose some of these levels, it will have to really move well. Aside from that, pre-market is really horrible right now. It's not looking all that great. Plug, I'm not interested in, so I'm going to remove this one. And GRWG, yes, it just doesn't trade well for me, so I'm going to remove that. All right, let's look at what our moderators have this morning. Um, Maybe I can pick up something that looks good on their chart because mine's not looking all that exciting. John has a half the day breakout. His top candidates are Nvidia, Baba, and Target. Mike is looking for scanners, so he only has Baba. So notice how tight the moderators list is today. Very, very small. It's that type of day, guys, where again patience is going to be key, especially if you're eager to trade today. If you had a bad day yesterday, today's the day where you want to try to be a hero. The week is ending soon. You got one more day of trading, which is tomorrow. You want to calm those nerves and understand there's another week coming up, and another week after that, and hopefully another week after that. So keep that in mind. Here's Thor, Target, and INTC, possible continuation. Apple, Nvidia, and Baba, all of these are on my list as well. Look pretty decent. Norm, my pillow,
Let
even
me let
has
me let me specify. I'm not going to be
yes.
watching Mike Lindell commercials on loop all day.
It's funny. I thought about that
I'm
when I read
talking
that.
about my actual personal pillow, not Mike Lindell and his silk shirt and all that mess.
in,
No.
in translation, guys, Norm is going to be patient. He's not going to push anything today. He's going to be very patient. And if the setup is not there, he's not going to take it. And that's important, right? And it's hard. Trust me, it is hard to do. When we started out, and I remember we started probably around the same time trading. It's difficult to come in, set up, prepare, have a watch list, do levels, and then not hit that hotkey button. I mean, what are we doing here, right? Part of trading is knowing when not to trade, so keep that in mind. Aim and plug, INTC, CVAC, and the airlines. Yes, I think the airlines are going to be interesting today. GAN and BL and KS is possibles list. Tiffany likes INTC, and over on the possibles area, she has American Airlines, BABA, and RKT. Brian this morning hanging out on the East Coast with us actually came on the mic very early on today. He was on, I think, at 8:15, saying good morning to everyone in the chat
I
room.
came on when I came back from dropping my son off. I came into my office and I heard talking and I was like, "Oh, damn! Did I slept so much? Did I miss the open? Is it Brian already on the mic? What worried me?"
Yep. So he is watching RKT, INTC, AVTR, and OPGN for fun. Peter, no idea. I will watch the usual INTC. I assume that is AMD, Microsoft, and Apple. So, all right, folks, that is the type
Just
of
a
day.
heads up.
Mhm.
Andrew's not trading with us this morning. He's got a couple of mountains. It was in the email he sent out yesterday. He's got a couple of mountains he's climbing in the next few days. So he's headed out, but you've got Brian and Thor will be trading the open.
Andrew could have been nice and given us a heads up that this was the type of day we were going to have, and we all could have gone with him
I know, I
on
know.
his
I just
climbing
texted
trip.
him and say you couldn't have picked a better day to take off.
Oh,
So this is the
absolutely.
worst. This is the worst year. Excuse me. This is the worst day I've seen this year, I believe.
Yeah, it's that type of day, and the reason we keep saying it, guys, so you know that be patient. It's not saying you don't have to trade
Mm-hmm.
and you don't have to complete turn off your machine, but just be patient. That's all it
Be
is.
super patient this
And
morning.
if you do take a trade, and my rule is, if you get stopped out 2, 3 times on the same ticker, you know something is wrong. Stop taking that trade and walk away. All right, guys, that is what we have. Trade safe. It is Thursday. We will see you tomorrow at 8:30 Eastern time to end the week. It is Friday, so let's see what the market has for us tomorrow. But today, be patient, and we will see you later today in the chat room or tomorrow. Take care, guys.
Take care, guys. Trade safe. Watch that Orville. Have a good day.